Just letting you know this is only my spoiler first impressions of the episode. Check my pinned comment for a free gift related to this video. And to watch my unfiltered reactions with exclusive bonuses, join my Asha Media TV Club. The link is in the description box below. Now, here's my afterthoughts of this episode of Fringe.
It's like, can I not have a break of something like normal? No, I can't. Because it's Fringe. No point really whining about it, but I can't help but admit it. As I kind of said a little bit, like, it was nice to have a different version of Nina that I thought would just not be so, what's the best word? I mean, can't really necessarily call her villainous, because for all we know, it's something that she'll justify. So I don't even know. But either way, okay, some certain things are just not changing, and Nina's one of them. Nina, no matter what timeline, will be an enigma of whatever you want to deem as good or bad. Lost in thought with other stuff, all mixed in one. I'm trying to also figure out the right words to express some of my thoughts about this episode, because it is quite unique. I gotta be careful with how I word this, because I'm already picturing a few people who may not understand what I'm trying to get at. But hey, you know, I stab at it, and if I have to clarify it, I'll clarify it, but hopefully I won't need to. So bear with me here. Just a subject matter that I tend to notice in properties that are primarily written by a team of men, or more or less a team of writers where there's predominantly men in the team. Okay, let me get this out of the way, and then I'll move into focusing on the scenes. So, episodes of TV that I've watched in other properties, like right now, I'll use it as an example. I have to use it because it's most relevant, okay? Supernatural is one, and I have mentioned comparisons with Supernatural, although it's not like 100%. It's very little stuff here and there. Some are really coincidentally the same, even though it's completely different people behind the scenes. Different time frame, different a lot of things, okay? But one thing I have noticed is anytime there's been an episode, so far, and mind you, remember, this is my first watch, but anytime there's been an episode where there's a bit of an address, subtext, not so subtle, sometimes very subtle. In this, it was kind of a mix, where there's the subject matter of male sexual repression, or suppression, where we see in this episode, he's attracted, he's falling for this woman, he can't act on it. So essentially, the ballerina episode, okay? This episode, on the surface of things in presentation, there's a lot to be said there with their feelings for a woman, dead or alive, okay? And I'm just saying nowadays, it's so creepy for women like me, because maybe not for all women, when we recognize the undertones that is just very inappropriate, but understandably human. And the reason why I brought up Supernatural, the only reason I brought it up was because Supernatural has tackled a couple of episodes where they kind of bring up incel-like behavior, and that behavior would manifest in violence against women. But they would cover it up with the supernatural stuff, right? So it's the subtext of it that I see as a pattern, and when I go and look to see who the writing team is, it tends to be men. And it presented itself in this episode naturally so for a young man who wants to live life and wants to be seen. And in a nutshell, the presentation of it was a lot easier to watch and relate to than it was for, in some regards, with the ballerina episode. Marionette. I guess why I want to express it to you is because it gets uncomfortable when I mean, for instance, okay, that scene where he goes into her bedroom and he leaves the trail of leaves or whatever. They're trying to show me as a viewer that he has romantic feelings towards her and he doesn't know how else to try to express them. And nowadays, you know, it is creepy to see that. And I'm just thinking, why couldn't they just written where he left her flowers on the table and she doesn't know who it is? Just like it's how you present it and what the presentation of it is interpreted as. And male viewers, male hetero viewers at that, you may see it differently, but then it's like when a woman sees it as something not very positive, I know for myself, I could think of a few male friends and males in my life who would probably roll their eyes at me overthinking the situation. I've been like, okay, whatever, it's not a big deal. He likes the girl and he wanted to be seen. Do you know what I mean? Okay, I think I've said enough on that. It was a tricky thing for me to even attempt to try to express this. So let me go back to the episode and focus on a really good episode. At that, maybe that's all you want to know. Asha, did you like it? Yes, I liked it very, very much. Is it 5 Ashamoji? It is not. I would give it 3.5 at best. It's a very good episode. It's not one I would really care to watch too much, only because it's not that spectacular with the the problem at hand. I mean, on a first watch, like I said, they did a decent job in getting me to sympathize just the way Olivia did with him. He wanted to be seen and all that, and using that kind of dialogue of being seen and his actions to steal pigment, knowing he would die for the last time. And it was nice that finally he does get seen by the girl in the elevator. I don't think he would have been as relatable if he didn't get that moment, and it was well performed. But aside from that, I would say the most compelling aspect of the whole episode wasn't his story, and that's why I can't give it beyond a 3.5, because it was what was going on around him, and that was with Olivia and Lincoln and this little budding thing. And I like how I think it could be deliberate from the writers to ease us in as viewers, since we are so used to Polivia, right? And now it's like, okay, well, let's look at a different dynamic with her and someone else who we did see some kind of a chemistry, but from a different timeline, right? Anyway, so I'm cool with it, but as I said, hashtag Polivia. So I'm still holding out hope for that. I mean, not with this Olivia. If anything, I would say now there's some closure to understand that his Olivia from his timeline is the main thing, and if it takes him having to build back that machine all over again, and we go back to the machine situation, I'm now going to just throw it out there as my wacky presumption until further notice that that's how season 4 will end. It's like we'll go back to the original timeline, and this timeline would have not existed, but it's an experience in and of itself for me as a viewer with the whole Fringe thing. Okay. I wanted to just bring up some really cool scenes that I really enjoyed. First, starting with the scene of the actual invisible man in his tub. I thought that was just very cool way to introduce this character coming out of a tub, and that's where he has all the pigment. And I mean, I could have mistaken what they said, and I'm not going to go back, so I'll let you correct me or clarify it. How does he know to do all this? Like, he was experimented on, he escaped, and I guess we can just chalk it up to self-teaching? Very intelligent boy to learn all this, because this is some really intricately complicated stuff. I mean, to soak in pigmentation into this little tub situation, that's quite something. Or is that just too much of a stretch? I don't know. You experts, let me know. The next scene that I enjoyed was the scene between Nina and Olivia, where she started to see for herself, hey, this mother-like figure seems to be involved in some shady stuff. God knows what she's hiding, because it's bringing back, again, the dynamic of suspicion that I'm used to with our prime Olivia. And so that I really enjoyed. And then at the end, where we see Nina is, drugging her for a couple of hours, as the guy says, and then she gets a migraine. So that means at the opening of the episode, they had already done that to her. And all I could think of is they're taking something from her while she's out. So although it's not explicit with her cortexiphan abilities manifesting, there's still something going on in her physiology with it that they are likely taking, and she's taking, and maybe experimenting on it with other subjects. Oh boy. All right. So that's going to be quite something dramatically to see when and if she does find out about this. Poor Olivia. She just can't get a break. None of them can. Her and Peter. that in itself is its own tale to be kind of obsessed with. And I think more than anything, more than all the fringe paranormal, abnormal stuff going on, this is the heart of the show. Olivia and Peter just back and forth with all kinds of crazy stuff. Alright, that's all I gotta say about this episode. Share your thoughts. And if you did understand what I was trying to relate, it's just commentary. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm just saying that as a woman, if I interpret it, it can feel a little awkward because it's just something I can't understand. And that's that. Okay, there you have it. Those are my afterthoughts about episode 7, Wallflower, from the 4th season of Fringe. If you want access to my full, uncut, unfiltered reaction to this episode, as well as extra bonuses and early access at that you get as an Ashamoji TV Club member, details on joining my membership is in the description box below for you. So, until episode 8, I'll see you in that video. Bye. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and check out my other videos.